there must be a disaster relief fund for victims.
Federal government, President Bola Tinubu promises strategic assistance to victims of flood disaster in Maiduguri.
It is clear that farming is not just an occupation. It is a way of life which can create employment opportunities.
Lady Oluwemi Tinubu says farming is lifeblood for many Nigerians. The federal government says tapping into global halal economy is critical to boosting Nigeria's exports and achieving sustainable growth. Good afternoon and welcome to News Desk at 3 on Nta News24. We're broadcasting live from our studio here in Abuja. I am Claire Adelabu Abdurazak. And President Bola Tinubu has pledged more strategic assistance from the federal government to assuage the effects of the recent flood in Maiduguri and its environs. The president visited the Boro state capital to sympathize with the people of the state over the disaster that has placed thousands of residents, suggested a national disaster relief fund to cater for victims of such situations in Nigeria. Our State House correspondent Muswat Wahab reports.
President Bola Tinubu returned from his trips to China and the UK Sunday night. Just a few hours after his return, the president would fulfill a sense of responsibility as he proceeded to Maiduguri to see the devastating consequences of a flood stifling the rejuvenating peace of the home of peace. Though the waters have largely receded, those who suffered the effect are yet to overcome, as President Tinubu visited one of the camps housing those displaced by the disaster. They clearly felt the sense of compassion of the president. President Tinubu proceeded to the palace of Shehu of Boro, which was also overtaken by the floods. Not only has the state not witnessed flood of this magnitude, the disaster has equally truncated the rebuilding process of a state just recovering from the devastation of years of insurgency. And the traditional ruler, who appreciated the concern and support of the president, has a plea to the federal government.
My request to you is one, that is, to find out the root cause of this bleeding and address appropriately so as to avoid future occurrence, as over 80% of this town has been affected by this disaster.
The magnitude of the damage we have, as it has been said by His Royal Highness, the Shehu of Boro, we want you to look into the possibility of reconstructing this dam with new hydraulic structures that can handle natural flow of water.
President Tinubu sympathized with the people of the state, and particularly those who have suffered varying degrees of losses to the disaster. For him, the Maiduguri experience is of national concern and will be treated as such.
We, as a government, as Nigerian people, will pledge with you that we will help in the rehabilitation and resolution of problems there. It is our problem, not just your problem, not the problem of community alone.
At the Boro State Government House, President Tinubu commended the commitment and leadership quality of Governor Babagana Umara Zulum and appreciated the support of various bodies, including members of the Governors Forum and donors.
For the people of Boro, Yobe, and other affected states, I say we will pull together a very good program for Nigeria to recover from this calamity and do better in the interest of our people. I've been thinking of how do we tackle this kind of a problem, whether it's climate change or any other means. But there must be a disaster relief fund for the victims.
We are going to partner with you to ensure that they don't only have palliative, but we support the disaster management fund that you have just pronounced today. We will do so, even if it means doing so with our stipends. We assure you that we'll support you to make sure that those things are in place.
The president is back in the nation's capital after the one-day visit to Maiduguri. In Abuja, Musbao, then Wahab, NTA News.
Still in Boro State, Governor Babagana Omara Zulum has also expressed gratitude to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, for the consistent support to victims of floods in the state. Now, this was while inspecting food distribution at internally displaced persons camps in company with the agency's Director General, Zubaida Umar. Correspondent Ilyasu Yakubu was also there.
The deployment of resources for evacuation, search and rescue mission, as well as provision of food and non-food items to victims of flood disaster in Maiduguri by the National Emergency Management Agency has been described as unprecedented. Experts say this level of commitment must be sustained and improved upon for the well-being of all Nigerians. Governor Zulum said with the volume of intervention work done by NEMA for the upkeep of disaster victims across the country, it is obvious that the agency is overwhelmed and therefore appeal.
NEMA is overwhelmed, and therefore I'm also pleading on behalf of the National Emergency Management Agency to the federal government in order to provide additional support for them so that they can carry out their functions diligently.
NTA News investigation revealed that the flood waters are gradually receding and the victims are beginning to pick up the pieces of their lives. From Maiduguri, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
All right, away from Maiduguri flood disaster. The First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, says farming is not just an occupation, but a way of life for many Nigerians. Therefore, harnessing the full potential in the country will boost the nation's economy and make Nigerians self-sufficient. Now, she was speaking at the launch of the Renewed Hope Initiative Young Farmers Club of Nigeria, where 240 youths were inducted. She says catching them young is critical to growing the sector.
It encourages us to revive our indigenous occupation, which is farming. It is this spirit of hard work and productivity that we seek to rekindle today with the launch of the Young Farmers Club Nigeria. Agriculture has always been the backbone of our nation. From time past, we have tilled the land with our hands and hearts, to the present, where agriculture continues to be a crucial part of our daily lives and economy. It is clear that farming is not just an occupation. It is a way of life which can create employment opportunities for a teeming young population, help diversify the economy, and put food on our tables.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, speaking at the launch of Young Farmers Club of Nigeria. Now, the federal government says tapping into global halal economy is part of plans to diversify the economy. Now, a special assistant to the president on export expansion, Aliyu Bunu Sheriff, says this is not driven by an Islamization agenda, but the critical need to boost Nigeria's exports and achieve sustainable growth. Now, this was while discussing how to build a vibrant halal economy on Good Morning Nigeria today. And Ekemini Williams has the details.
The halal economy is associated with the global markets of products and services that conform to Islamic law and ensures these products meet specific ethical and religious criteria. The Special Assistant to the President on Export Expansion, Aliyu Bunu Sharif, noted that the halal economy extends beyond religious compliance and is hinged on principles of ethics and integrity, which resonates across cultures. He says tapping into the global halal economy represents a tremendous opportunity for Nigeria to diversify our economy, generate foreign exchange, and achieve sustainable growth.
Goal is to explore how we can capture a greater share of this burgeoning market, which the focus is the Islamic Organization of Cooperation countries. You know how wealthy they are to invest in certain things, and now is the time to attract foreign direct investment to really expand the economy. So the idea is to develop a comprehensive halal ecosystem in Nigeria, one that is supported by rigorous accreditation and standardization processes, which is the key thing. So it's not about Islamizing the country or saying, okay, there are rules for this or that. No. There's a sector that is interested in these things, or even the Muslim or Christian populations abroad, like I mentioned, Brazil, New Zealand, UK, and the rest. You see products with labeling of halal on it. So it's not about, no, this is for Muslims, that this has met certain standards, certain quality.
He noted the success of Sukuk bonds and the growing appeal of Islamic banking as a demonstration of the fact that halal principles are compatible with global economic standards and can benefit all Nigerians. The Special Assistant added that the strategic focus on the halal economy opens up new avenues for Nigerian businesses to compete on the global stage.
And that is our goal. Nigeria, being one of the largest Muslim populations in the world, has already emerged as the 8th largest domestic halal economy, and it's expected to grow from $107 billion currently to $180 billion by 2027.
Well, it's not just about the Nigerian market, it's about the global market. The Muslim population in the world is already hitting 2 billion, and it's projected to get to 3 billion by maybe 2025, 2030. Now, if you look at that, that's almost half of the population of the world. And if you are going towards that, these are people that need these products. So it's not just about the Muslim population, it's about a market that is there worth over $5 trillion annually. How do you get a piece of it?
The presidential aide advised Nigerian businesses to buy into the initiative. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, Nta News.
And you can watch a repeat broadcast later this evening at 5 o'clock on this channel. Now you're watching News Desk at 3 on Nta News24. Let's take a break. The news will continue presently. Now, Art for Democracy exhibition took the center stage in Abuja as part of activities to commemorate this year's International Day of Democracy. The day aims at celebrating the values of democracy as a way for everyone to participate in public discussions on what is important to them. Nigeria's democratic journey, its struggles, victories, and the ongoing quest for equity and justice were the areas of focus. And Timothy Yusuf reports.
Expressed fusion of spoken word and dance, examined hopes, challenges and aspirations tied to democratic governance. All of this here with vibrant celebration of democracy through the lens of art, performance and dialogue at this Art for Democracy exhibition event.
We have pieces that speak to people, the power of the people. We have pieces that speak to the resilience of the Nigerian people. We have pieces that speak to what the future of democracy looks like.
The theme of this exhibition is Art for Democracy. So it speaks to a certain issue that we are facing as young people in Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole.
This event brings together creatives, thought leaders, and citizens to explore the power of democracy in shaping the nation's collective future using visual and performing arts. Discussions centered on making democracy deliver for citizens, with prominent voices from civil society and the creative sector sharing insights on strengthening democracy to better serve Nigeria. Timothy Yusuf, Nta News.
Meanwhile, economic experts have attributed the fuel price issues in Nigeria to inefficiency in the oil and gas sector. They say factors including bureaucratic red tape and insecurity as well as politics are to blame. Now, reacting to the price list as released by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited for the sale of Dangote petrol across its retail outlets nationwide, which showed that petrol pump prices will rise to around 950 and 1,000 naira per litre. The experts advised Nigerians to start seeking accountability by demanding information from NNPCL and Dangote refinery, as this will determine their course of action and put these companies in check.
The cost of transportation, something for the farmer, fertilizer and all that. If it's 20 naira, that is the cost. And you're expecting to buy it for 10 naira. It's difficult to answer how that will happen. What I've just said is that it is important that we as Nigerians actually know what the real issues are. And part of the real issues is getting the details both from NNPCL and from Dangote refinery. It's time people start asking questions, critical questions, rather than supporting someone and looking for information to back it. They should look at the information that is available. Okay, okay, you are collecting crude in naira at so price. Why is it at so price? Those are questions Nigerians should ask. Oga, you are importing. Why are you importing? Oga, the refineries are not working. Why? You know, people have said the refineries are not working. These are being shifted, and they are carrying hammer. Nobody is asking why. The point with that, why all of that is missing, is that it allows people with some knowledge and expertise to analyze things and say, oh boy, you guys are actually making 10% or 40% profit. Or you guys are making, you know, because if the cost comes down, you know the cost at which is getting the crude. So you can basically analyze, and with you can know the average cost of refining. So you can average and analyze all of that. So not making that available is basically more or less shielding their business or protecting certain things, which I say is all part of politics.
The air component of Operation Delta Safe has executed air interdiction missions in River State as part of its intensified efforts to curb crude oil theft, pipeline vandalism and economic sabotage in the Niger Delta. The Deputy Director, Public Relations and Information, Group Captain Kabiru Ali, indicates that the two separate missions targeted specific sites along the Imo River, including Owaza, Ozako, Obuzo, Osako and Obiako. The air crew proceeded to conduct an armed reconnaissance mission in Owaza and Osako, during which they identified an active illegal refining site at Osako and immediately engaged, resulting in the destruction of 4 tanks and 2 canoes. The second mission originally was intended to support troops northwest of Umuahia, but adverse weather conditions forced the crew to divert and conducted further air reconnaissance around the Obuzo section of the Imo River, thereby destroying 12 tanks along with several jerrycans and other equipment used by the criminals around Owaza, Obuzo, Osako and Obiako. NAF will continue to conduct air operations against the activities of all thieves and other criminals in the Niger Delta and in support of ground forces across the region, and is calling on citizens to key into these efforts of security agencies to deter the activities of these economic saboteurs with a view to checkmating their activities. Now to some health matters, and Mpox is real and spreading very fast in Africa, Nigeria inclusive, to which health experts say requires collaboration from all institutions in order to arrest its transmission. The Nigerian Red Cross, with the support of the International Federation of the Red Cross and the Norwegian Red Cross, is equipping a wide range of stakeholders on strengthening Mpox prevention and control in Nigeria. Abdullahi Ajia reports on the two-day capacity building program.
Issues of vaccines, transmission, prevention and beliefs around Mpox disease formed parts of the knowledge-sharing class as the Nigerian Red Cross and partners provide training for 3,000 volunteers to add to the fray of frontline health and medical experts that will champion a house-to-house sensitization against the Mpox infectious disease in Nigeria, with 1,000 cases reported and 67 confirmed.
They will be doing contact tracing of the confirmed cases, and they will also be involved in communicating the risks and engagement of communities on ways to prevent the disease, and also what they should do in case of seeing somebody that has symptoms of these diseases.
We are supporting the implementation by funding the National Society for them to be able to undertake their auxiliary role in supporting the Ministry of Health.
Resource persons prepared these participants representing the states of the Federation and the FCT with up-to-date knowledge, especially states with confirmed cases. This intervention the organizers maintain was born out of public health concerns to support the government in fighting this scourge.
We're looking at how partners can support subnationals in, especially the governments of Nigeria, especially in the states, in supporting outbreak response and other strategies that will help to mitigate the spread of the disease.
And now that I've gained more knowledge, I know how to debunk it more, to tell them that this thing has always been there with us and it was eradicated before, but it has come back again. So we need to take these vaccines.
This training session is very timely because from what we are going to do here, it will determine the extent of our intervention at the state level.
After this training, the volunteers are expected to engage communities with emphasis placed on preventive measures, just as the experts advised increased surveillance around border communities and entry ports, with a view to ensuring detected cases are reported appropriately for quick response. In Abuja, Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
And you're watching News Desk at 3 on Nta News24. Let's remind you of our top stories.
A disaster relief fund for victims.
President Bola Tinubu promises strategic assistance to victims of flood disaster in Maiduguri.
It is clear that farming is not just an occupation. It is a way of life which can create employment opportunities.
First Lady Oluremi Tinubu emphasizes farming as lifeblood for Nigerians. And federal government says tapping into global halal economy is critical to boosting Nigeria's exports and sustainable growth.
This is NTA News24.
And President Bola Tinubu has condoled with members and leaders of the Tijaniya movement in Nigeria over the death of 40 members killed in an auto crash on Sunday. A statement from Bayo Nanuga, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, The victims were on their way from Pandari in Plateau State to Maulud Nabi celebration in Saminaka, Kaduna State, when the bus collided with a truck at Lere town in Kaduna State. President Tinubu condoled with the families of the dead and injured, and also with the governments of Kaduna and Plateau States. He prayed for the repose of the souls of the departed. There'll be another news desk at 6 on this channel. I do enjoy you to join us then.